I am endlessly amused by the way that a lot of conservative young men's response to the troubles they're having when it comes to dating, because a lot of young women are realizing that they would rather not date conservative men, is to lash out with something along the lines of, oh, well, you want to be picky about who you will and won't date? You're going to be single forever with your cats. Because what they don't realize is that that prospect isn't that scary anymore. Like, maybe I will be single forever with my cats. Is that so bad? I'm single with cats right now, and I'm having a great time. This is, like, infinitely preferable to what I imagine being married to a would be like.
All right there, my birth control glasses queen. It's not that a bunch of young women realize they'd rather not date conservative young men. That's not it. The problem is that a lot of young women who look like you are your typical 49ers. You're basically a 4 on the attractive scale, if you're lucky. But you think you're a 9, and you think you deserve better because you're not gonna settle. Usually that women say that don't really take a really good look in the mirror. And ending up alone with a bunch of cats is not a flex, sweetheart, by any stretch of the imagination. Sure, you can let your political beliefs brainwash you to believe you don't need a family, you don't need a husband, you don't need children. This isn't something that men have not seen a million times before. You spend your young years saying how you're happy with your choices and you're strong and independent and chasing Chad and Tyrone, and yet when you end up alone, you're crying with your regrets. But that's alright, queen. If you don't want to pass your genes on to the next generation, I think you're doing your country a service there. Before we move on, I want to bring to attention that 75% of my viewers are not subscribed to my channel. Come on, fam. You've seen my logo on other channels, and you're already here. Please hit that subscribe button and support the channel. It really helps out. Moving on.
So you know how there are those people who are breaking up with their boyfriends because their boyfriends voted for Trump, and everybody's like, oh, well, it's just politics, people can have differing opinions. No. Yes, people can have different opinions, but not when it comes to human rights. Like, different opinions when it comes to, like, pizza toppings, or, like, what's your favorite ice cream flavor, or, like, what's your favorite color. Like, different opinions, yeah, that's completely valid. Like, you can't be and just be like, oh, well, it's just my opinion. Like, no, it's not an opinion. It's just, you're just being a bigot. I just don't understand why this is so hard to conceptualize. Like, why can't people just not be, like, why can't people just not be, like, why can't people just not be, like, it's really not that hard. So the people who are breaking up with their partners because their partners voted for I think it's valid, because it's not just about different opinions. It's not just about politics anymore. It's about a lot more.
Ho, ho! Fiction can be fun.
Alright, fam. As you all know, I am not a political gorilla by any stretch of the imagination. Even saying that, in the past, we've seen when politics comes a knocking on my niche. And here we are again. And I'm gonna go on record. Why do these extremists have to involve everything to try to get their way, even in relationships and dating? Listen, my brainwashed queen, I don't care about your made-up flying spaghetti monster ideals that come up because the way somebody voted. What I do care about is when you extreme womanists try to weaponize everything, even relationships. Regardless of what my male viewers may feel about political views, this gorilla believes that using dating to bend into some extreme narrative is as close-minded as you can get. Let me get this straight. Because of some grand election result, you're justifying destroying relationships? Whatever happened to the right to vote and the right to free will? It's amazing how you queens demand the ultimate freedom with your choices and claim some humanitarian punishment is coming your way because of said result, while at the same time demanding women to punish men for their freedom of choice in a first world election cycle. That's hypocrisy to the 5th power there, sister. But you know what? Like I said with the previous queen, you decide not to have a relationship with a man and probably not have children to keep this extremist mentality going. It's possibly better for the country. Moving on.
I'm literally losing my mind that conservative men genuinely think getting rid of no-fault divorce laws will make women stay with their husbands they want to leave. Have you ever met a woman? One that's alive today and not in your mind? Because the women I know, when they're leaving a dude, they're leaving. They're peacing out. They're bouncing. And they're announcing it to everyone too. They're live tweeting about cutting off toxic people and protecting their peace. And women have been on their for a while now. Back in the 80s, when my mom broke up with her boyfriend, he wrote her letters for a year. She threw every single one of them in the trash. She didn't open a single one. This is a post-man, I feel like, a woman's society. This is not the 1800s anymore. And women are financially independent too. Even the stay-at-home moms are on their Etsy store and essential oils grind. And If you make it impossible for women to leave their husbands, they've watched a lot of true crime. And you should keep that in mind.
Does not compute. Does not compute. Does not compute.
I just have one question for this Coeen. Where did she get the idea that men believe that getting rid of no-fault divorce is gonna make the marriage last longer? You got your facts twisted there, sweetheart? No, men don't think that if they get rid of no-fault divorce, the marriage is gonna last longer. They just want to get rid of the fact that no-fault divorce incentivizes and rewards somebody for getting a divorce. It's real clear, sweetheart. You could still divorce and get out of there, but you're not gonna get a payout like you're getting now. I mean, what's the reality of divorce today? You marry a guy and after 7 years, you decide, oh, well, I can do better. I want a divorce, and I'm taking half of everything that you've earned. Basically, men are saying, okay. In a nutshell, men are just saying, we're not stopping you Coeens from leaving. We're just stopping half our stuff from leaving. Also, sister, you mentioned that women are making their own money too and are independent. Great! Then you should be all for this. Take your independent butt out there and go make your own paycheck and stop taking a man's stuff. It's amazing how you women always go to the extremes to try to justify stuff. Oh, I can't divorce my abusive husband. That's like a small extreme minority to justify the majority to suffer. That's the biggest difference between men and women. Men will make generalities on the majority, while women always try to make a case for that 5% or less. But don't worry, Queen. Modern men have learned their lessons. That's why marriage rates are so low. You got what you wanted. You can start a family with your boyfriend, but the moment you decide to break that family up, you're on your own with nothing except maybe some child support, a free ticket to get back on the carousel, and plenty of box wine. Moving on.
There is a marked difference in how conservative men treat conservative women versus liberal feminist women. And both are equally as insidious. As a TikToker, I am often ridiculed for my appearance, or they conjecture that I am bitter, alone, or jealous of women who are prettier than me. Whereas in a conservative TikToker's comment section, the men treat her quite a bit different. It is as if she is more deserving of respect because she has aligned herself with the patriarchy. A lot of people wonder why some women are misogynistic. It is because the patriarchy rewards her, especially if she is blonde. Generally, the conservative ideal of beauty is blonde and blue-eyed. But conservative men reward women for being conservative, deeming her a rare flower amongst Western. Often conservative men avow that anti-feminist women are more beautiful than feminist women. And this manifests conservative men calling women like Emily Ratajkowski mid or even unattractive, when quite clearly she isn't. But men use complimenting women as a seduction tactic to the right. They swear that women just aren't as beautiful. Perhaps they are poisoned by their birth control, on their 10th abortion, and above all else, bitter.
Who hurt you?
Wait a second there, my uber womanist Coeen. Are you saying that men treat women that don't insult them, don't label them, don't make them look out to be in a negative light by any exaggerated means, as you obviously are doing, treat those women better than they treat you? Oh, stop the presses! I didn't see that one coming. So I'm curious, how exactly does this work in your mind? Do you think that by you insulting men, telling them that they're just full of basic human evil, is supposed to get men to bend to your will? Is that the way it works? Last time I checked, when you insult a person, that person tends not to want to deal with you. Go figure. I mean, don't get me wrong, Queen. This gorilla doesn't want to say that you're bitter, but you know the old saying, if it looks like a duck, quacks like a duck, and walks like a duck, well, it's a gorilla, right? So it's super obvious that you are not bitter. And the spiel about men find conservative women more attractive while clearly uber feminist women are attractive. Maybe this little fact is going to blow your mind there, Colleen, but you know that your personality can be tied in directly to your attractiveness. A girl can be physically super hot, but if she has a horrible personality, men are not going to want to deal with that. And the fact that you're pointing out a physical feature like a woman being blonde makes her prettier than you, well, that suspiciously sounds like, at some point, any words of that nature that came from a man may have hurt your fifis. And if it didn't dawn on you, sister, that has nothing to do with political views. That's actual preference, you know, that thing that men have a right to have. But let's hear what else she has to say.
By calling her beautiful, he is appealing to her need for male validation. Women have recognized that although many of us do crave male validation, it is because we are within a patriarchy. And to be approved by the patriarchy is to be approved by society. But conservative women happily align themselves with the MGTOW, men's rights activists, what have you movements to gain male approval. And men in the comments section affirm this. Men understand that many women possess insecurities about their appearance, or at the very least would like to upgrade their level of attractiveness. This is present in both sides, by the way. They exploit women's need to look and feel beautiful. But part of the reason why women have such a deep need to feel beautiful is because of patriarchy. Yes, most people, men and women, would love to feel beautiful. But for women, it is an imperative, a prerequisite for respect. So if men find you attractive, you essentially have value. It takes a lot to be a woman. Men will scoff at you just for existing. But a conservative woman's currency for being conservative is compliments. Men telling her that she's not like other girls. Men telling her that she's more beautiful than men telling her that there needs to be more women like her. And for some women, that's enough.
All right, so this queen said that women wanting male validation has everything to do with being in a patriarchy. It says, when does biology have anything to do with being in a patriarchy? Biology and politics are two separate things. No, sweetheart. Women crave men's attention just like men crave women. It's a biological dynamic. You both crave each other. And that line about conservative women aligning themselves with men's rights and the MGTOW movement in order to get validation, well, guess what, sweetheart? Who do you think men are going to want to deal with? A woman that's deciding, hey, you know what? I'm not going to give him a headache. I just want him and me to have a good time together. Or hanging out with you all the time, where you're just going to tell a man how he's one of the worst people on earth just because he was born with a tube steak between his legs, i.e., guilty by association. Maybe you should tone down that misandry you're having a few notches so you can see the big picture, as in, contrary to your beliefs, men don't wake up every day thinking how they're going to oppress you. Men have 100 more things that are way more important than trying to validate your fifis. Is it possible that these other women that they find attractive understand that, hey, you know what? If I don't try to paint him like a villain, he and I may actually get along and we can have an actual good relationship going. Also, sweetheart, the reason that most women, I'm talking about like 99% of women on this planet, strive to be more beautiful is because that is their natural gift given to them by Mother Nature, not by the patriarchy. Beauty is a strong asset that women have. Most women know this, and they decide, hey, you know what? I'm going to work on this asset, make myself as attractive as possible. There's nothing wrong with that, but you're making it seem like if a woman decides to be beautiful, it's all patriarchy. I don't want to say that you're probably upset because some conservative woman picked up the guy you wanted, but you're leaving a good trail of breadcrumbs for someone to get to that conclusion there, queen. And sweetheart, it's not that difficult for modern day women to become a diehard womanist. So you just have to give in to the dark side so you can end up as scarred as Anakin, except on the inside, and absolve having relationships with 80% of the men out there, diving headfirst into the blue pill betas that will seem as attractive to you as an annoying little brother. I'm all for your rights to go even deeper into the womanist world. I mean, all you need to do is shave your head off right now, tattoo the hell out of yourself, get a degree in gender studies, and end up working as a barista.
Fatality.
Flawless victory.
I'm just saying, if you enjoy this audit, click on the video in the end screen for more content. If you would like to support the channel, please follow the link in the description to donate to our beer fund, or like, subscribe, and share this video on other social media platforms. If you agree or disagree with anything about this audit, please let us know in the comments. I'm going to leave this audit right here. I'll see all of you in the next episode.